Hey, all you kooks and spooks out there. It's the Men of Mystery, and we got a good one for you, so buckle up.
Welcome to another show. Ooh, I forgot to mute that. Welcome to not even another show. I'm high. I'm bugging. I said another show. Welcome to our first episode.
Welcome to the very first episode
of
Men of Mystery.
There you go.
I think we should not wait.
It's your host.
Try it.
Men
You supposed to do it.
of
Mystery.
I didn't want to be of.
Yeah. I didn't want to be of. I gotta remember.
I didn't want to be of. Nah, keep all this.
No. I said I didn't want to keep my mouth. I got this shit close to my mouth and shit. But we got your hosts. Three hosts here today. Ace High.
Hi, I'm Cloudy.
JQ.
And we all here. We are Men of Mystery. We're going to be covering a lot of different little topics of, obviously like mystery stuff and conspiracies, aliens, murder, ghosts, paranormal, all types of shit.
Cover-ups.
Yeah. And today's is actually about a cover-ups. So
I like the cover-ups.
Cover-ups are always fun because there's always a lot of different opinions and a lot of different conspiracies and a lot of different stuff that you hear that happens. Like for instance, like I was telling you guys about the Jeanette De Palma or De Palma. I always forget if it's De Palma or De Palma. So
I think it's De Palma.
I think it's De Palma.
Yeah.
Where that story, it's still an ongoing. Well, I don't even know if it's ongoing. I don't know if it's still ongoing, but I know it's definitely.
Nah, that's no longer ongoing.
Yeah, it's no longer. Okay,
closed.
it's closed, right? But that's because it's a
cover up.
It's a cover up, definitely in my
That's
opinion.
exactly why it's closed. It's a cover up.
Cover up from who though? Who's covering it up?
In my opinion, I mean, let's get into the story because what it was, just to give you guys a little backstory. What happened was the girl Jeanette De Palma was apparently a good girl, Catholic or Christian, I forget.
I think she was Catholic.
Regardless, she was religion, and religion background. So a lot of people knew her as like a very, a person with face. She was a very good girl and all that stuff. But there was also talks that she might have been, she had her twist, right? So I think weed was her twist or whatever. Mind you, this is the 70s, so weed was a big
Frowned upon.
Well, it was frowned upon, but it was big in those times, right? So that they'd smoke weed like
Everybody was getting high.
We're getting high now,
Yeah.
So
Pass that shit, nigga.
actually, I am. Here you go. And so basically, one night she went out, or not even went out, but she left and was supposed to go meet with a friend. Ended up never making it. Ended up missing, and then found like.
They unalived her.
What?
They unalived her.
Yeah.
So
is
she
that a
was
word?
found.
She was found after her body was found.
Oh, okay. I thought she was like
No, she was
disappeared.
Like, well, she did, and then they found her. Apparently, a guy walking his dog, apparently, or something like that, quote unquote, found like an arm. But then some people said he
Found some. Yeah, his dog actually
found
brought
a hand or something like
the
that.
dog actually brought back the remains.
Yeah.
So supposedly the dog found the remains. Right. It already sounds like some bullshit. The dog found the remains, brought them back to the owner, and that's how they figured out, okay, she's dead, and they figured out where her body was through the dog.
that's fucking sick.
Yeah. It sounded like some bullshit
That's
to me,
fucking
though.
sick.
I mean, it sounds like some bullshit, but then apparently, like that wooded area is known. So like the wooded area they found her in, apparently that cause like it's like a hill, or not even a hill, more like a mountain cliff top type of thing, or like a hangover, I guess you could say. And they call that apparently the Devil's Teeth. So there is like, stories or history of like cult activity, witch activity from that area of the woods and that area of that town or whatever. So I think it was in Plainsview.
I was just about to ask.
I think it was Plainsview. I forget. Actually, my memory's a little foggy now.
Plainsfield,
I think it was Plainsfield or Plainsview, whatever, something like that. Somewhere out there and like near those pine barrens and all that extra areas of weirdness.
Where all the Blair Witch Project bullshit happens.
Yeah, so, but to answer your question, like the word cover up. In my opinion, I think it is. I think it's a cover up only because, the way the cops kind of like deflected the whole like, oh, the witch cult or there was a sacrifice, stuff like that. The fact that like they kind of like just brushed it off because, I mean, a lot of those towns like that, they don't want that type of
Publicity.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, we can't have that type of, image.
Right. It's like the Bucky story. You ever heard of the Bucky story?
No, please.
And I forgot to give you guys this one, but the Bucky story is like, it's about the Lambertville High. They used to have a high school at the time, whatever, years ago. Shit burned down like 2-3 times or some shit like that.
Oh damn!
But apparently before that school was like dead or whatever. There was a football game against Lambertville High, and I forget the other team, but it was like a Pennsylvania team because they had like a
big ass team, right?
Well, it was a rivalry. It wasn't like they had a rivalry against the other team or other school that was like across the lake or across the water, which was like PA. And I forget what the team was called or what the high school was called. But that high school is actually still standing. They're actually renovated and everything for that one. But Lambertville High is done.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if they burned out. The rival team burned
down.
No,
that joint is so brand new.
That'll be sick as hell.
That would be sick as hell.
That would be one hell of a cover up right there.
Yeah, that'd be
one hell
up.
of a
But
rivalry.
listen, a rivalry and a cover up all in one.
Well, the thing is, that rivalry's been dead since the 50s or whatever, the 40s. You know what I mean?
Rivalries never die.
Facts.
But the point is, the kid died on the football field in that game against that rivalry team.
Damn.
And reason why I bring that up is because the town itself, and I talked to Sushi, just shout out to Sushi because this is pretty much his little theory on it.
Sue, what up, Sue?
He was saying like basically the same thing. Like they just didn't want to have that publicity, so they tried to, even though people don't, they say that story or that legend is really not true, or they try to sit there and say like, there is really no history of that incident technically. There is more to that incident. Apparently, like the school was haunted, the field was haunted. Apparently, if you challenged him to a race or a football game, you had to like make sure you sprint across the field. If not, you end up with his like how he died with his neck turned around and all this crazy shit.
Oh. Wait. Hold on. So supposedly the field is haunted.
The field or the school itself was haunted. It's actually a YouTube video, and I'll see if I can post it up here as like a little snippet.
We should go to the school and play a pickup game.
But the school's not there no more. They
should go where the remains of the school are.
Good luck, because apparently like cops and all that shit really like
they be on it.
They lock it down. They don't like people out there.
Oh, that's crazy.
Point is though, I bring it up because that town, Lambertville, I'm pretty sure they've had probably thousands. I don't want to say thousands. That's over exaggerating. A couple hundred people probably asked throughout the years, hey, what about this story? Hey, what about this story? So they try to deflect it, or they try not to talk about it, or they try to just put it, debunk it as just like, oh, it's just a legend. It's not true. But that's why I bring it up, because like, just in this case with Jeanette Palmer, I think it was just a cover up because they didn't want that type of publicity. They didn't want their town to be known as a witch town. We're talking about the 70s, you know what I'm saying? Like, or the 60s or the 70s around there. So it was like, back then a lot of things was, how do you say, taboo.
Yeah, they wanted everything on the hush hush.
Yeah, so that's like, then you got a murder on your hands. You know what I mean? In a sense, now you got a murder on your hands. You got all this. They didn't want all that they didn't want to do all that work. So in my opinion, was it probably laziness instead of a cover up? Who knows? But in my opinion, it might be a cover up. Who knows? There could have been people involved with that cult that was family with these other people that ran the town, but mayor or however that shit works. I'll be speaking high shit, but
they're all in on it.
Right. I be thinking about it. You never know. I mean, there's stories or movies and shit we see all the time where they'd be talking about like shit where people having cover ups in their town or having secrets and all this crazy stuff. So, it's crazy how that shit is. But I do think it was a cover up.
Yeah, it definitely for sure sounds like a cover up. It sounds like some real shady shit happened over at that high school, and I'm curious why the shit kept burning down.
Are you talking about the
high school?
Oh, we're back to that. Okay.
I was just thinking about the high school. Like, damn, like that shit really do sound like some shady shit.
Well,
that
apparently,
was over there.
well, no, what happened was with the high school, they burnt it down. I think it was like, it got burnt down the first time, like 1920s or something like that. Got re-renovated, and then like towards the end of its like closing, I think it got burnt again, like when it closed or some shit like that. Like,
so it only burned down twice.
I think so, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Well, that's
like,
not too like.
So that means it
the
burned,
fire. My bad.
So that means it burned the first time, and they fixed it or whatever they had to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So why didn't they do it the second time?
Because they at that time, like I said, Lambertville at the time apparently didn't have a big population for like school wise. You know what I mean? So
So they were already a failing school. Kids was probably already transferring out of there.
Well, no, not even what it was. Well, maybe, who knows? But I think after the whole incident, quote unquote, it does make you think though. Like maybe after the incident, that's when the bad karma of everything started happening, where they had to close down. Because it doesn't really say why. It just says like, you know, the population of the school, I guess, was like very little, so they just transferred those students to another bigger school, I guess. They migrated pretty much.
Yeah, like the shit that happened in Riverdale.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, same shit. Love that show, by the way.
Yeah, I love Riverdale.
It's very mystery, but I ain't gonna not to get off topic, but that last season I really didn't dig too much.
Yeah, season 5 was eh.
Is it season 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one where his dad, they actually show like Luke Perry, like they give him a death scene in a sense. Yeah, okay, that's the same season. Yeah, that season was okay. It wasn't the best one. I think the what was it, that the Dungeon and Dragon type game they played.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
That season 4, I think it was. That shit was fire.
Was crazy.
That shit was fire.
That's Riverdale y'all talking about, right?
Yeah.
You seen Riverdale? You watch that shit?
Nah, man. Sorry, man.
You gotta watch it. It's good. It's real
hard.
good. You know what I mean?
Jughead is my boy, yo.
I fuck with Jughead, but Jughead, huh?
You would say Jughead, right?
Yeah. I fucks with Jughead.
Yeah, I fuck with Jughead. That's my boy too. I fucks with him. I fucks with Archie, but I mean, that, you know, he's the main guy, so everybody's always gonna be like, oh, Archie, this and that. So I always like the sidekick,
the second guy.
Yeah, I always like
right.
the, you know, the Vegeta, the Jugheads. I always like those guys. I don't really like all the time the main character, as they say. But you have to get off topic. Good stuff. You gotta watch it, JQ. But
so how does the Riverdale compare to what we were talking about?
I don't know.
No. So basically, in Riverdale, one of the main characters, Veronica, her dad incorporates the town, right? So basically, he like buys the town, right, on some G shit. But he only does that because he bought land next door to create his own city, and he basically gets it down to the point where he takes over the town and moves all the kids out of the school, out of the Riverdale High, into, you know what I mean, into his school and shit. Into his school, he got his own prison, he got everything. He, you know what I mean, he on him popping. This man's big bichote, and it's basically like the same shit. Like once the schools get small enough, the kids just start transferring to other schools, and they have to shut it down because there's not enough kids in there.
Right. I get you.
Yeah, so it's pretty much same shit. So who knows in those times what they did or what they do. I do want to go take a trip out there and kind of, cause they have like some type of shop out there or something like that. I guess like some type of historic.
In
shop
Riverdale?
No. I'm talking about in Lambertville.
Oh, Lambertville. Yeah, we should go out.
I don't want to do shit like that. Dope. I would like to do shit like that. I don't know if y'all scared to do shit like that.
Nah,
but
I'm not. I'm not too scared.
Man, my eyes are shifting back and forth. I don't know about that.
No.
You wouldn't go check out like the crash site monument for the Mexican pilot?
Nah, I would be down with that. A lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, just
I'm real interested in a lot of stuff like
or
that.
Or the Pine Barrens itself.
I don't know about running through the Pine Barrens.
Maybe during the day.
Fuck around, find a chupacabra or something.
The Jersey Devil.
Right.
Y'all believe that?
The Jersey Devil?
Yeah.
Depends on what you believe.
So many stories about that shit.
I don't know. I kind of do. I mean, I'm gonna sound crazy when I say this, but I'm gonna say it. Me and my mom kind of think we saw it years ago.
I heard this story.
Actually. I might have told you.
I think I heard this story.
Off. Oh yeah, I might have told you off wax, but I'll tell it now. Yeah, me and my mom might have saw one. We're not. You know, she says she believes she thinks we did. I'm 50-50 on it. You know.
Man, listen. If your mom says she saw the shit, bro, I think she might have saw the shit, bro.
Who knows? Because where we was driving, right? We went to pick up my older brother, and he was on a dark road.
Shout out to Miguel.
Facts. Shout out to
Where was this
Miguel.
at?
You know what's funny? She said it was out here somewhere because we're not that far from like
Rancocas Woods is not too far from us at all.
Yeah, we're
We're
not that
in
far from
Willenboro
Pemberton and all that
Township
shit.
right
Yeah,
now, so
we're not that far. So we was around here. We picked up from somewhere around this area, around that area, whatever you want to say, or however, well, whatever the area was. Excuse me. And we're on the road, and we picked up my brother. We're on the road. Next thing you know, we're driving, and my mom abruptly just stops the car, just boom, right? And she's like, "Did you see that?" And then when I look up, I see like the end of something. I just didn't know what it was, but what I saw was legs. Like that's what
legs. Like what kind of legs?
like
explain the
hooves.
legs. Hooves?
Yeah, like hooves type legs. Like
okay, so like we're looking at a deer's ass.
like a deer's ass to end, or a bear, like not a bear, fucking
an antelope. Not too many things
like
have
the
hooves.
deer,
a reindeer,
horse. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like a horse, and like something like that. It was real, very weird looking. But I just thought to myself, it could have been.
Okay, so what are we looking at? A centaur, like half man, half horse?
I mean, like I said, I only saw the end of it. What she saw, what my mom said she saw, was it was a face of like a weird looking face, and she said it looked like it had like little wings or something on its back. And she was like, it looked like it had hooves or whatever, and then she said it looked like it had a tail. And when we got to the crib, she drew it, well, as best she could anyway. And I looked at it, and I was like, that looks like exactly what a Jersey Devil would look like. You know what I'm saying? And my job, just like, as a kid, I mean, I was probably like, at least what? Because we lived in like Creamery Hill at the time, so. And my brother, he was always hanging out here.
Wait. So y'all was on vitamin? On
no,
vitamin?
no. We was on 25th at the time.
On 25th.
We was on 25th. So
shout out 25.
I was probably at least 11. So, you know, it's years ago. But I always say that, like, I always remember that story. And I only tell that story to a few people because I don't want to be like, oh, that's bullshit. I mean, because it sounds like bullshit, I'll admit. But, you know, when she stopped and the way she stopped that car, the way she was, like, kind of, like, freaked out a little bit by it and drew it.
Obviously, she seen something.
She seen something.
Yeah, either that or it's a cover-up.
Right, you know, so... I'd like to think there is something out there. I mean, we got a lot of unexplainable shit, you know.
It's crazy because it makes you think like this world is fucking so big, and so much shit goes on. Like it's mysterious in a way because people go missing. So much crazy shit happen, and it's unsolved or unexplained.
Yeah. I was like, just try to get more into the mic, bro, when you can. No, that's a fact though. That is a fact. You know, I mean, I think that shit too. Like, not to get off topic, but like the missing shit, like missing people and kids, like that's always crazy because I be thinking like the most weirdest shit in a sense with that, you know.
Yeah, that shit is wild, bro. Not for nothing. It's really a spike in that, like especially even now here in our area, like it's a spike in that, like in over Philly. Like I know it's mad little girls missing over there. It's like 3 or 4 little girls missing over Philly, and that shit warrants like a FBI investigation, because ain't it like supposed to be some situation like that where it's like either three or four like different cases, the FBI is supposed to come out and investigate and, you know what I mean, start a whole debacle, but niggas ain't hearing nothing about that.
Yeah, well, because sometimes things are cover-ups, like, not to be funny, like
Big
you said, but some things are cover-ups because, like you said, you would think they'll have someone who handles those cases who if they can't, you know, solve some of these missing reports, but I don't know. That's why, you know, a lot of people think the Pizzagate was bullshit, but I don't. You know, I think that shit might have been legit because look at the
countless missing people all over the nation.
And not even just that. Look at the what was that other John? The one that was like that site. What was it, Vanity Fair or some shit, or whatever that site was?
What was that? I don't think
not
I
Vanity Fair. I'm bugging. What was that
Vanity
site?
Fair.
I know, I'm bugging. It was that site, the one that was like selling fucking what do you call it? It was selling fucking like furniture and pillows, and it was naming them after kids and shit.
Wayfair, nigga.
Wayfair, yeah.
Oh, that
Wayfair.
was crazy. Listen, I looked into that because it was crazy. Like around that time that was going on, I was literally looking for a bed. So I'm like, all right, let me go on Wayfair. You feel me? Because they all crazy with the commercials. Wayfair, da 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 da. So I'm like, all right, boom. Go on to John. I start looking up some beds, and I see beds that's like $3,000 and like 4,000. I'm like, damn, why are these beds so high? And then they got other beds that's like $150, $200, and they almost like the same exact beds, but the beds is called like the Chelsea bed, or like the motherfucking Ashley bed. And it's like a whole bunch of like weird names like that, and all the other names is just regular, like platform bed, motherfucking twin bed, full size, regular, you know what I mean, name shit. And you don't think nothing of it because you're like, all right, I'm just looking at some beds and maybe these is just fancy names and you know what I mean, they just a little bit different material or something like that. But I think that shit could be true, bro, because like, why was they selling beds at like 223K, dumb shit like that, and their names is dumb weird, like
They're human
right,
names.
the Caleb bed and shit like that. Like what?
That's
Like
fucking,
my
like,
furniture is
what?
literally named a human. Like
Right.
you open up the box, a fucking Ashley real pop out that bitch. Like where am I? Like you
so
know what
what,
I'm saying?
they
Like, it's
were
crazy.
human trafficking or something?
So basically,
Basically,
yeah, that
that
was the
comes from
theory.
shit, yeah.
It was the human trafficking people.
That's what that was what they got supposedly got caught on, I think, or whatever, or some shit like that. It was some big like news.
It
thing
was a
about
big
that.
conspiracy.
Yeah, it was a big thing about it because like that shit was kind of like weird. Like you could just order a dresser or a bed or a pillow and it's named after a fucking human. You know what I mean? Like,
And it was absurdly priced. It wasn't even the fact that it was named after a human, because you go to other sites and it's like, okay, you go to Ashley Furniture and you know what I mean, they got stuff, you know what I mean, named after people, but it's not like the prices were absurd. These prices was crazy. Like 20 racks, 10 racks. You like, yo, what the hell? Who's paying this much for a bed?
Right.
And it's like a regular looking bed. It's not even no crazy ass fancy bed that got no nightstand that's connected to it or nothing. Like, it's a regular bed.
So you're saying these beds that had those unique names were actually people that were being sold for that price?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
That
That's
is
crazy. Yeah.
that's crazy as hell, bro. I mean, there's people who really see vans, you know what I mean, and these vans be really picking up people. They snatch people up. It's sick, sick as hell, bro.
That reminds me of what's her name? I only know her name from Martin. Gina. She was just saying something about being kidnapped or somebody trying to kidnap her, and supposedly the cops were looking into it. There's a lot of people saying they believe her. Cops didn't have enough info to actually say what she was saying was real or not, so they kind of made it look like she wasn't telling the truth. But I feel like anything could have happened. Things happen so fast you never really know. But her story was sick about that human trafficking and shit like that. That shit really happens.
No, that's facts, man. It's definitely crazy. I mean, like that's like one of the stories in the Power Barons, right? I could be a little off with the details, so forgive me. But you ever heard of the story of like Ong's hat?
Ong's what?
Ong's hat. Remember I was saying
no.
I was trying to get into a little bit with you guys about Ong's hat and like the twins who disappeared and shit. So like in that area, right, where Ong's hat is, and like near the Pine Barrens around that area. All right, so I'm gonna try. It's kind of weird. There's two different stories, but like they kind of go together in a sense, I guess. So pretty much, Ong's hat is just the reference point, right?
Right, so that's like a location.
It's like a street, right?
Right.
Now it will be considered like a street, a little drive, a little Ong's hat way or some shit like that. And pretty much the story of Ong's hat was that he was like a pimp. Not even a pimp, but just like a player, a smooth talker, you know what I mean? A ladies' man.
A gigolo.
Gigolo, yeah, pretty much.
Spending lots of dough.
And he was, he got basically caught up one night. Female caught him with another female at this like spot that everybody went to and stuff. He had this faint, like, he was pretty much known for wearing this hat. Like, always had this, like, fedora or something like that type of hat.
Gentleman.
Yeah, he dressed like, in a sense like that. He was very fresh with it. And she took his hat, stomped it out, and threw his hat in a tree.
Oh, so she basically like, she was like, all right, I'm gonna hit this nigga with a little ritual. He gonna be fucking around with all these hoes. I'm gonna stomp his hat out and throw it in a tree. You know what I'm saying? Stomp his hat out, throw that shit in a tree, and say some words, and that nigga life gonna be fucked.
I guess. I mean, I just know that apparently his hat was in a tree. And that became at the point of, Ong's hat.
Okay, so that's the reference point, the hat and the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now,
Understood.
flash forward, these two scientists that came from like the University of Texas or Texas somewhere or some shit like that, and they got pretty much let go at the university or some shit because they're like their scientific like studies and the stuff they were like experimenting were very kind of like outlandish in a sense, very weird.
We don't approve of any of that.
Yeah. They were very cult like apparently. I think they were twins too. I forget like so the story of it a little bit, but the point I'm making is that they disappeared, and the reason why they disappeared was because apparently, I say apparently a lot. I gotta find like a new vocabulary word. The story goes is that, oh shit, sorry, I forgot I got my alarm on for work, so now I ain't got work. Hey, don't look at me like that. So,
no work for you tonight, buddy.
Thank baby Jesus. So the story goes is that they did something or got caught up with something, doing some type of experiment or doing something, and they were also working on how to get to another dimension, like another universe.
Oh, so they were like trying to like make a Stargate.
They were basically trying to make a hole or a doorway to get to the next side or another side of a dimension.
I'm interested. Talk to me.
So,
I like where we're going here.
So apparently, so they got into some shit or whatever about that, or something happened, and they end up. The story goes that they end up walking through the portal that they found out and never came back.
Yeah, so these guys are crazy, and they've gone missing.
They've gone missing to that point, yeah.
I was about to bring up another story that kind of reminded me of that. Y'all believe in like the firmament? That's what it's called, right? Firmament. I don't want to say.
Yeah. So you're talking about flat Earth?
Not just flat Earth, just the firmament, right? Like the skies and the water, right? That reminds me of a story of this guy who went missing because supposedly he they had a submarine and they were deep as shit in the ocean and around the Bermuda Triangle, and they came to some spot to where they were underwater but seen like what looked almost like a shore, like another shoreline and more water, like another lake, and they're underwater already. So they were trying to get like the whoever was driving it was trying. He was explaining they were trying to get into that, like to go deeper. But for some reason, it wasn't letting them go. So they were just like, damn, they were trying to figure like this shit was so dense, it's not letting them go into that other lake or ocean or whatever was beyond that.
Right.
And when they supposedly they got video and stuff like that, and when they resurfaced and told the story about it a week or two later, that same pilot for that sub, his helicopter blew up.
Damn. Cover up.
And that just went, his whole thing just went with that. But that kind of reminded me of what Ace was talking about. And I just wanted to bring that up with the firmaments. What y'all think about that, though? Y'all believe in that? Like the firmament?
That's the first time I ever even heard of it, to be honest
Man,
with
listen,
you. So,
as above, so below.
I mean, it's probably the first time you heard of that story, but you never heard of like a firmament or what that is?
I've actually heard of a story.
I'll be honest with you,
similar
no.
to
I mean,
that.
not to sound stupid, but no. Like, no.
Well, supposedly, I'm not, 100% with these facts, but I know that it is in the Bible, and they talk about a firmament, water in the sky, right?
Right.
You could
So
probably...
basically, what they're saying is that we live in a dome. You know what I mean? And it's like there's a glass dome almost, you know what I mean, like a cup. And there's a lid, you know what I mean? And that's where the water comes from. And, you know what I mean? You could basically open and close this lid in the firmament. But you have to be of divine or divinity lineage to be able to open this lid,
So who opens the lid?
to my understanding. I mean, those of divine lineage, I don't know.
So this is for flat Earth theories, like
I
theorists
mean,
and shit.
this is a theory that I've heard of that's out there.
You a flat Earther?
I'm not a flat earther, and I don't think it's just a flat Earth theory. I think that
It's a couple theories put into one.
It is part of it, though. If like I don't want to take away what it is. I know that theory of us having a flat Earth, us being in that dome. Yeah, the
Right.
firmament.
I think we all seen that YouTube video with the rocket flying all the way up in the air until it got to like the very top of the firmament, supposedly, and it just spins out. It's like getting to the top. It gets to the top of the glass, and it just spins out, and then it falls to the ground. But they connected a camera to this rocket so you could see the whole orbit. So from the very bottom to the very top, till it gets to the top. But it's kind of weird because we send out spaceships every so often, and they supposedly go into space.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a way for them to just divvy and just go in and out of the firmament as they see please? Could be another conspiracy or a cover up.
See, I don't know, man, because I like the whole aspect of space, time, and galaxies and other planets, and
Okay, Doctor Strange.
I do. I like that shit. Crazy part is I should like shit like Doctor Who. I never watched Doctor Who, but I would assume I would watch it and like it because it does deal with like time and travel and all that stuff and space and shit. So like I don't know, but when it comes to that, man, I just find that far fetched. Like I just think like there's gotta be more. And if there is, like if we are just a flat Earth, then what's out the dome, right?
All
It'll
right.
be more water. That's what's supposed to be above the dome. More water.
So we're just surrounded by all water.
Let me pick your brain a little bit, right? Just
Wait, question before you do. Are you
Okay.
a flat earther?
no. I'm
Okay,
not.
I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure, like you know what I mean.
I don't believe that I don't fully believe that we live in a firmament. I am of Christian background, but I don't fully believe that we live in a firmament. That's kind of weird. But let me pick your brain for a second. Let's just speak hypothetically. Like let's say we're living in like a matrix type of constructs, right?
Like a simulation.
Like a simulation, right? Let's say we're living in like a Matrix meets Rick and Morty type of construct. Like it's a super deep like simulation. So let's say, right, this firmament that we supposedly live in is actually like a petri dish.
Sorry.
It's good. It's actually a petri dish, like a scientific dish, like where they put like the bacteria and like shit like that they want to study in a microscope, right? And God is a scientist, right? Just a scientist, and our Earth is just a bacteria on a petri dish. And very so often, motherfuckers on a bacteria petri dish just get out. You know what I mean? Or they think they get out, and they just got to keep the story. Like, okay, yeah, y'all space travelers now. Y'all go up into this rocket, and we supposedly see y'all in a couple months. You know what I mean? And the whole time we just being studied.
Yeah, it just sounds crazy. I mean, even when you put it in that sense, it's just like I get
Blew
it.
my mind with that one.
I get it. I get what you're saying,
Right,
but
right.
it's still like what? Like wow. Like I don't know. I just can't. There's got to be more to it. Like there's got to be like. I just think there's got to be more. And even like I said, even if we are a flat Earth, right? Even if we are a flat Earth and it's a cover up for it, I still have to think that there's got to be another dimension that's the dimension that we think we are in. So like we believe we're a sphere, right? All right, what if we're lied to and said we are actually on a flat Earth, but we're lied to and said we're on a sphere. But there's another dimension or another Earth that's like ours that it is a sphere. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
Second Earth.
A parallel universe.
A parallel universe, pretty much.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but even if it was like that, there's still more. Like, there's more to it, bro. Like, and the fact that we have a lot of other things that in my like I don't know exactly what right now. I can't think. I'm kind of high as shit. But
Facts.
I know there's definitely stuff that kind of science shit. And I'm not a scientist. I like you said, I'm a Christian background too. I do have other theories and here, you mother smoke that. I didn't get to really smoke it, but smoke it. You know, I do have other theories or other beliefs of other things, I guess, that could be in a sense whether it's conspiracy or not. Because I like to think that honestly that everything has some type of truth, I guess. And I don't know but when it comes to flat Earth, I don't see any truth to anything.
That was a big contradiction right there.
It is, and I know because I'm high and I'm speaking crazy, but like at the same time, I'm just trying to get to the point that like a lot of things I believe in, like even like when it comes to like different gods, like I believe there's one true God, but like I like to like kind of think that maybe they could have been
Other gods.
yeah, other gods at one
Like
point.
on some American gods.
I believe that it
love that
could
show.
be one God. I just feel like maybe that God presents himself to different groups of people a different
different
way.
ways.
That's why people, he looks different to everybody.
Right, interesting. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
I feel like
Just
that
depends on
goes
how you
back
look
to
at
like
it.
the Tower of Babel. You know what I'm saying? Where they were trying to build a tower to the heavens, and God was like, "Nah, hold up, y'all niggas is close. Y'all a little too close. So I'm gonna scramble all y'all language, and you know what I mean. Y'all not gonna be able to understand each other. So when y'all think y'all gonna finish this tower, y'all ain't gonna finish the tower. You know what I'm saying? So that goes kind of back to that in my head. You know what I mean? Like how in biblical terms, God made everybody different. So you see God in different ways. You know what I mean? Or you interpret God in different ways.
yeah, I guess I don't know. We really don't know. That's the cool part about it. But that's also like the damn itch that you
It's
can't.
bittersweet.
You can't itch, you can't scratch because
It's beautifully ugly. Like
because you want to know. If we all knew what it was, it'd be like damn. I guess if we all knew the truth, we all would probably do right, or we probably do crazy shit. Who knows? But when it comes to that flat Earth stuff, I don't know. I think like there's aliens. Like, do you guys believe in aliens?
I for sure do. What about you?
My take on aliens is a little weird, so that might be for another episode.
Well, like I said, I would think that plays a part into that theory too.
Definitely do. Definitely does.
Facts.
Definitely does.
But so would y'all go to the Pine Barrens? Let's get back to that.
During the day.
If it's light out, definitely we could take a trip. I'm cool with that.
Besides all the spooky shit though, there is a lot of art there. There's a lot of art and graffiti and a lot of spots that is actually known to attract people to see the art.
Man, listen, I'm even with doing the young boy shit and going up to the ranger station and going all the way up in that big ass fucking tree house that the Rangers got, and you know what I mean, doing that.
The lookout point.
The lookout point, right.
Is there like a story with that?
Not that I've heard of, not anything like crazy, but I remember as a kid going to the Pine Barrens and you know what I mean, taking a trip and going all the way up to the lookout point, and that shit was cool. That shit was mad.
So you actually been there?
Yeah. I've been there a couple times. I've been there to the Pine Barrens as a kid and later on as an adult, like you know what I mean, a young adult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always wanted to go. I never went, but I guess one day I'll go. I don't know. I that sounds spooky, crazy, I guess, but like I would do the night thing. Like I would go to a like that the monument I was just saying about the Mexican pilot who crashed. Like apparently if you go there at night and you like flicker your lights or whatever, you hear the sound of his airplane or some shit like that. Or is it the flicker light? I don't know. I feel it's something like that. It's like you hear the lights or
I've heard something about flickering lights at a bridge.
Some shit like that. Yeah, it's something like that. I forget if it's flickering lights or you just walk around the monument and you just you just sit there or whatever and you can hear the plane and shit like that.
So when you get what you want and you hear that plane, what you gonna do after that?
Right.
You're gonna haul ass out of there.
You're gonna bounce. Yeah, exactly. I got
haul ass out. It's true.
Listen,
Shit,
I don't care if I have to wait. If you gotta wait an hour, okay, cool. But that hour,
He said if you gotta wait an hour, okay, cool.
that hour
Have a
wait,
couple blunts.
that hour wait will be worth that 1 or 5 seconds of like, oh shit, we just heard something for real. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna be getting blazed. I'm gonna hear a plane come out of the room.
Sad part, we just talking shit. We probably would never go. But I'm saying right now, if we did, though, like I would.
Something's gonna come up every time.
Right. I got
Man, listen, I'm with
skate
going to the
practice
Pine
and shit.
Barrens.
Yeah,
That's not far.
I'm down to do all that stuff too. Honestly,
I feel like what
With
creeps
some
me out
torches and
more.
pitchforks.
I feel like what creeps me out more in the Pine Barrens are those underground tunnels. That's something I really can't do. I'll be able to explore, and, suck it up and go at night, but I can't do the
Nah, we
tunnels.
ain't
Not
going
even
in
during the
no
day.
tunnels.
Well, I sure as hell want to do no tunnel at night. I'll tell you that right now. That's a no. Maybe seeing like the entry of it right
It's
there.
probably
like,
where the Jersey Devils at.
I ain't even gonna lie though. The tunnels do intrigue me.
well, there's hell. What is it? Hellmouth or Hellgate?
That's what it's called.
There's one tunnel I think that's called that.
Oh, if it's called that, then never
If
mind.
I'm correct, I heard some of those tunnels in certain spots were used as ovens to dry the bricks or whatever they were making there faster. I did hear something about that.
Man, that shit sound crazy.
So you never know what's in them tunnels or what you can find.
Right. I mean, man, that's why I always like the history. Cause there's stuff that we just don't know about. You know what I'm saying? And then when you find like a relic of something or a rock from like 10,000 years ago that's still around, still like a full size rock boulder or whatever it is. It's just crazy, bro, to read that you can find stuff about like the land or the history or even when it comes down to spooky shit that we're into. You look up a fucking certain part of the land or a certain house, just curiosity, and you'll find a crazy secret, you know what I mean, about that town or about that house or about,
That being said, you never know what you may find. It may be a mystery.
Right. Right. Go. Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, but
So what other places would y'all be down to go to? Like the spot you're talking about with hearing the pilot in the plane.
like in-state or out-of-state?
Doesn't matter. Anywhere.
I would love to go to like those little like baby cry bridges or whatever, or cry baby bridges and shit. I know there's one in like PA. And I know there's like a couple other ones and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're gonna have to look some joints up. Definitely gonna have to look some spots up and see where we could go.
Well, I know one person who's always down to do it will be definitely Sushi.
I'm down.
But his thing is, he is
I'll
funny.
drive.
And shout out to
I'll keep the car warm.
and shout out to Seuss because I love that nigga, man, because he keeps it real. He'll tell you straight up, like, man, I don't know if you ready. You know what I mean? Like, he tells you right in your face, man. And he'll tell you, if you ain't ready, you ain't ready. So don't do it. But like, I know he always says it, like, he would do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I said. Like, I would do it. Some of them, maybe not all of them, because I know there's certain ones I would just be like, nah, it's just too risky. Because I do believe certain things. Like, I do believe like ghosts can follow you. If you're not spiritually,
and he wants to go to some bridge and honk his horn and motherfucking flash his lights until he hear the plane crash.
When you come back, you're gonna have to go through decontamination for moms and shit.
Oh my gosh! Did she okay this?
right? So, I mean, I don't know. I want to do stuff. Or at least go to like, like what is it, the penitentiary? I think you could go there, right?
Yeah,
like shit like that.
We can definitely go to penitentiary.
There's stuff that you can go to and see. I was saying I want to see certain things, man.
I want to go and see stuff where they don't follow you when you leave.
I don't think there's nowhere, bro. We ain't going nowhere then.
Crazy. It's it's crazy. There's a lot of like, I always feel like there's a lot more ghost stories overseas, and I feel like a lot of those ghost stories are like good ones. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of good different ones.
It's true.
Like,
yeah, a lot of like those French castles and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
The suicide woods of Japan.
Yeah.
That shit is sick.
That shit is crazy.
Now with that one, do they say there's ghosts or any like hear stuff there, or it's just like just the eerie fact that it
from what I know, people go there to kill themselves.
People
right.
literally
and
go
it's
to that
just
woods to kill
become a
themselves.
haunted place where people go and there's trails, but a lot of people might get off a trail and get lost and
End up in those woods.
never heard from again.
And yeah.
Or just go to kill themselves.
I've heard stories that people go in the woods and go crazy, and that's why they kill themselves.
But they probably find bodies. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, who knows? Who knows?
You probably walk in there, you take a wrong trail, you fucking find a body sitting there just at a tree.
Right. You thought everything was tea and ding dong ding dong dong. You thought everything was chilling.
But
The sound effects, man.
yeah, facts.
100.
But real talk though, like, you know, imagine that though. Imagine that, and I don't want to get too in depth with the whole suicide thing, but you know, imagine that, right? You know, a person who goes there to kill themselves, and that feeling that you're joining
A bunch of other people
who've done that there.
It's like a mass suicide over and over again every time one person commits suicide.
Right. It becomes
Ew.
it becomes a cemetery on its own, you know? Like, do not disturb. Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about that. Like,
Yeah,
a little bit.
it's really creepy.
Yeah. No. That's just wild. That's wild, man. Imagine going in there, because isn't there like a certain, like, it's a certain area though. It's not the whole woods, because I know
it's
there's
not the whole woods.
Yeah, because I know
it's
there's
a
like
certain area
trails,
supposedly, and it's like
nature walk
a
and
certain
shit.
like trail that you're not supposed to go down, because if you go down the trail,
That's how you get lost.
that's how
or
you
whatever.
get lost or some bullshit, and that's where it all happens.
They actually have those spots roped off, but people
Still go through.
yeah,
People
they'll
like,
still-
man, fuck that shit, nigga. This shit ain't no scary shit, pussy. I'm going through there, and we never seen Hong Lee again.
Mm-hmm. Shit's nuts. You know what's crazy? Speaking of that, though, you know, like, you know, about Japanese and all that, like, culture and all that stuff. You all seen the movie Annabelle Coming Home, right?
No,
I might have. There's so many.
there's
Different
so many
Annabelles. I might
Annabelles.
have. I
That
might
little
have.
doll been possessed 30 different
She's
times.
been around.
She's been around.
She's been around.
Nah, but y'all never seen Coming Home?
I don't think I have.
Which one is that?
That's the one she's coming home back to the house of the
The
two people.
So what's
people.
up? We gonna watch it tonight?
No, I think I seen that.
We can watch it tonight if you want after the podcast. After we eat and shit.
Yeah,
Roll up, you feel me?
yeah.
I'm down for that. I mean, I love that movie.
Annabelle.
Coming home.
That's just dope. If you haven't seen it, man, watch that shit, guys. It's a good movie. Comment below if you what's your favorite part about it, because I'm gonna like tell you guys like my favorite part. Well, it's not even a part. I really don't want to talk about the part. What I really want to talk about, and the reason why I brought it up, is because they had one of the things that was possessed that they had in their room. I don't know if this was a real life thing. I don't think it was. I tried to find like some research on it, so I don't think it was a real life thing. But the story for the movie was that there was a Japanese samurai get up, you know, full armored, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the Japanese soldier used to kill women and children. He was like an evil motherfucker. He just killed everybody during those times and shit. And you know, it was just cool because like I was like, man, that story would be cool as hell if they actually, you know, they always do these stories of like Annabelle and all these other ones, the Nun and all these ones. I was hoping they would do a spin off of that, but once we watch the movie, you'll see why I say that. And like I say, whoever has watched it, this is why I say that, is because like that shit is cool as hell to see like the way they depict it in the movie, where it's like this full armor can, you know, had a history where the soldier killed people, and that's how it got possessed. So my question, do y'all think that there are things that can be possessed? Not just humans, but things
like objects.
Right. Because like that whole armor, his
I
whole
think so.
armor was possessed.
I think so.
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
Like, there's always movies and like stories about like the creaking rocking chairs and shit that like move on its own. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that actual objects can be possessed. There was even a movie back in like, I think it was like the 70s or the 80s, maybe, probably the 80s. Yeah, it was the 80s. Car, I think it was. And it was like about the car that was possessed. And it was like running niggas over. Like
Christine.
I think exactly. That's what it was. Christine. It was Christine. Yeah. So basically, like, yeah, the car was possessed. You know what I mean? It was running people over, wilding out, doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Throwing people off the bridge.
Good movie.
Great movie. But I definitely think that things and objects and, you know what I mean, stuff like that can be possessed.
Yeah, I mean, even though a lot of people said like the Warrens were, that's their names, that had just finally hit me. The Warrens, like even though a lot of people say that they were fake, whether they were fake or not, I don't know.
Right.
But the fact that they did have a room full of possessed or evil objects, and they blessed it once a month and all this stuff, it's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to know like there's things
That's
out there.
wild.
That is wild. Like, you know, that you have these possessions in your home blocked off, you know, blessed off and everything. Like,
Ugh.
that's crazy. You have all that evil in one room.
At any moment, somebody can unleash that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. You gonna see him coming home. You gonna see. It's a good movie.
I'm officially creeped out.
It's a good movie. Don't shit yourself in here. Just saying. You ever you were saying earlier, Joe John, you was talking about that story. Tell that story.
What are you talking about? About the girl that was missing, right?
Yeah,
In the woods. Yeah, that story was a little crazy, right? It was about not sure where it was at. I think it might have been like in Plainfield, around the area you were talking about, Pine Bear and something like that. It was somewhere in that area, but it was about a girl who went missing, and she was missing for, you know, like over 10 years, and it was a story about a couple taking a long drive home and seeing a girl walking on the side of the road and decided to pick her up. His wife was, you know, she was iffy about it. She didn't want to pick her up, but the girl looked young and she looked, you know, clean. She looked like she shouldn't be out there, so they decided to pull over and pick her up. And she didn't really say much, but, you know, they asked if she needed a ride, and she said yeah. She got in the car and gave them a address to drop her off at, and you know, they were taking her to the destination of the spot, and on the way there, she wasn't really saying much, and, you know, they figured she must have been tired, and they'll let her, you know, rest in the back of the car. And when they made it to the spot, and they got to where they were at, the girl wasn't in the back of the seat, so they got out and they were freaked out, and they're like, oh shit, like, what the fuck? They eventually tried to, you know, forget about it and take some time and not think about it. It was, you know, they weren't thinking about it until the guy came across an article or something like that on the news, and that article was saying something about that girl in that same area. You know, a lot of people saying they seen a girl there and stuff like that, and you know, they thought they were going crazy just imagining things until he seen that, and he realized, like, oh shit, the story's real, and this girl died, you know, over 10 years ago. So they were both creeped out about that shit.
I probably would have fucked around and went crazy.
There's a lot of stories like that, though, about fucking people, you know, missing and hitchhiking. Fucking, you hitchhiking and you got a ghost in the back seat. Like, that's fucking, it's sick, bro. That'll probably make me go crazy if I pick somebody up and, you know, you're taking them somewhere.
Imagine if you get in a car with a ghost and a nigga driving.
Man, imagine just getting in the car and the nigga's in your backseat regardless. Imagine, you know what I'm saying? That's scary enough. So a ghost, like, just seeing something
there. What creeps
there.
me out, though, about stories like that is, like, you know, when people come across ghosts, and when they gave that girl a ride, right? If she was a ghost, you know what I mean? Like, what creeps me out about it is the little things. Like, you pick her up, but you might have not paid attention to how she got in the car, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then if she did get in the car and you know, the door open, like, she's a ghost, so, you know, to me, you would think, like, well, she's just gonna walk right through the car, sit in the car, you know what I mean? Or in that moment, she actually opened the door, physically opened the door and got in the car, and they heard the door shut. Like, did they pay attention to those little things like that? It seems like a lot of times in those stories, people
not paying attention.
They don't pay attention
to
to those little things like that. And you so in a moment of being, you know, weirded out or whatever, that you don't really pay attention to shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, you know, if those little details, you know, if you actually did hear it, and that's just fucking creepy. That should have made me go crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the one story I heard, like pretty much the same premise. It was the same thing. Doing in Puerto Rico. picked up a hitchhiker girl or whatever, and she died like years prior or whatever, and she left some in his like backseat of the car. Like, so I don't remember if it was like a jacket or something, but it was something like that. And when he went to go back the next day to drop off where she lived at, her mom answered the phone or the door. Damn, I'm like really off.
Something good with cherry. What was this cherry what?
pie.
Yeah, it's with cherry pie. And yeah, when she answered the door, she's like thinking like, oh, you're playing tricks on me. That's evil. You're bad for that. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And she showed him the picture like, it was this girl. Are you sure it was this girl? He's like, yeah. And
he probably explained details of what she looked like and shit.
Yeah, dog. Got probably all types of details with it probably. And once he found that out, he actually turned crazy. Like, apparently that was a story. Like, he turned crazy. That was his story.
I would have lost my mind.
Shit'll make you go crazy, man.
Yeah, because you're a taxi driver, or whatever. You're taking someone home, and or not even a taxi driver, just a regular driver, I guess, in a sense, and take someone home, and next thing you know, it's a fucking ghost. Like, that shit's nutty. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
all right. So, question.
What's up?
Do you think, right, in those instances, like, in the ghost perspective, do you think like that's like their intention? Like, I'm gonna make this human go crazy?
No, I don't. I mean, maybe. I mean, there's evil ghosts, I believe, that do harmful things or try to do harmful things. But I think a lot of those ghosts too, some of those ones like those, I think they're just lost. Maybe don't even realize that they're dead still. They're repeating a life that they don't even realize that they're repeating. Sometimes like there's stories of just ghosts, just only showing up on an anniversary. You know what I'm saying? Like
special moments or time.
Yeah, time and
that's
that
crazy.
Happened. Yeah,
that's
being
crazy,
stuck in that loop. You know what I'm saying?
In that Groundhog Day.
Yeah, pretty much. And you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? That's the good one.
So that makes you think deeper, right? About ghosts and about the shit that you can't see when we're alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like while we're alive, there's a whole nother world going on that we can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy about that is just like what's crazy about that is just like it just makes you think. Like, imagine if we were able to see all of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, if we were just able to see it at all times, how crazy that might be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it'll be like the Sixth Sense.
Yeah. Like, I see dead people. Like,
I see dead people.
I see dead people. I mean, people have powers like that. People do have powers like that. They see people, they see spirits, or they see figures. A lot of people always talk about the black figure. Some people see. I mean, there's even murder cases that probably got, like, I'm pretty sure there's probably murder cases that got solved by like some type of psychic or person who had a dream. You know what I mean? Or saw some type of vision of somebody pointing them to the right direction and say that's where their body is or something.
These beings are people of some divinity.
Yeah, man. The spirit world tries to talk to us. Whether you believe it or not, they do try to talk to us. Sometimes, somehow, some way. Some people have that power for it.
Facts.
Now, that's another thing. Like, do y'all believe in that though? Do y'all believe in there's special gifts, powers of that nature?
I definitely believe in that wholeheartedly.
I believe in that. If you're like a fucking reptilian or something.
A reptilian?
Nah, I'm just fucking around. Nah, I believe in that though. My bad. Yeah, no, I believe in that though. I feel like
Sorry,
I lost track of that. My bad.
Nah, you good?
That's weed. I'm fried. Look, it's been a little bit since we got up.
It has been a while.
I don't smoke this much weed, man.
Not at one time, no, you don't.
I don't.
Not until you with the bros.
Bring me back though. Bring me back.
I kind of lost train of thought now because we just got off topic. That's why I was just like, what? Like, he just blew my shit with that. I was like, what? You said even though.
Because I looked at Jay. It looked like you wanted to say something for a second, and then I just got off. It just threw me off for a second.
No.
Well, I mean, like I said, I know we were talking about, like I said, in general, people, I believe they do have those powers, those visions, or even just like I said, just see ghosts, spirits, whatever. I mean, even people feel it. You know, people could go to a house and be like, yo, I felt evil, or I felt sick. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Like, you know, when you get to that spiritual level of that feeling, maybe a normal person, you get in someone's crib, you're just like, oh, no, I ain't feel nothing. But someone who has that type of power, who has that type of, you know,
Yeah, I think there's
gift.
a name for it. I think
A medium.
a medium. Some people call them empaths.
See, I'm an empath to a certain level, though. Like, I feel emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can feel when someone's sad, and that shit makes me sad.
I feel like we all might have felt like we've seen something before, right? Or am I the only one? Right?
Nah,
I feel like
you ain't the only
I
one.
never had a moment to where it's like one of those movie moments where you're driving down the highway and it's like, oh shit, and you see someone and you crash, like, or almost, you know, avoid an accident. I never had one of those moments, but I definitely felt like, you know, I've seen something before.
Right.
I definitely felt like I've seen something multiple times, more than once. So yeah, in my eyes, in my head, there's definitely such thing as a spirit world. Things definitely move among us, and you just got to know how to move accordingly. Apparently.
Yeah, that's facts, man. That's facts. Well, that's all we got for you guys for today.
And we are men
Of
mystery. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you like what you see here, come back and watch the next episode we're going to do. We don't really know yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be something really, really interesting. I mean, today we kind of bounced on a little other things, and I like that because I like being able to keep it in that realm. So
mysterious.
yeah, you know, it was kind of cool.
Spooky.
I don't know. I like that. I like how we did this today. This was good. Good information about certain things. Good convo about a lot of things. So, but with the next episode, let's see what we give you guys. So, tune in till next time
Keep
on
it spooky, men.
Of
Mystery.
I don't always want to be of.